Hi, everybody, and welcome to Lawless the Bunker. Join us as we hide away from the plague and have a good chat with some of our amazing creators that have previously joined us at Lawless. We decided we ought to invite a few people over to join us inside our bunker, and this evening we're really pleased to welcome Mike Collins. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all. No, it's been a funny old year, isn't it? I mean, we haven't seen when did I last see you? It was Lawless 4, wasn't it? Just trying
I
to think. It's
think
been
we
a
might have
while.
bumped into each other at another show after that, but yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while now, isn't it? Yeah, no, I definitely need a Mike Collins hug next time I see
Oh,
you.
right.
So how's lockdown been for you then? You've been doing a few bits and pieces for Netflix, I understand,
Yeah.
when it all hit last year.
I found out in about January that I was been put forward for storyboarding a big show for Netflix,
Yeah.
and like a year's worth of work, and I sort of got geared up, ready to do it, and I did a few weeks' work on site, and then suddenly we had
Oh no.
lockdown. So
Yeah.
everything just shut down. Everything because nobody knew how it was going to go. Nobody knew how long it was going to last. So the studio
Yeah.
just basically pulled down the shutters.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it
a
does,
bit
doesn't
of a
it?
shock.
No, so how did they inform? Did they tell you about that? Just we don't know what's happening, or hold fire on everything, and we'll be in touch, or how did it work?
I think it was the email saying the March the 8th meeting is probably not going to go ahead, Mike, and then nothing.
Oh no. So did it pick up a bit later then? Did you manage to get it done in the end, or?
It did, yeah. I mean, I was quite lucky because in the interim, I got to do some work for a couple of kids shows here in Wales,
Oh,
doing
cool.
storyboarding for animation because everybody that works in animation can work remotely, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But the live action stuff, it actually started up again in the summer, but because they
Yeah.
knew it was going to be starting up, they actually brought me on board to do storyboarding early. So I actually had the luxury of spending a bit of time on my drawings rather than just having to sort of knock out God knows
That's
how
really
many
cool.
frames a day.
Yeah, so you had a bit of actual time to do the art on it and everything.
I got to make it pretty for once, yes.
It wasn't just random scribbles going, this is what I think
Yeah.
you need. How long does like something like storyboarding then? How long do you normally get to work on something like that? Do they give you a time scale that you're like, we need it by this time, or?
I have been in meetings where I have sat for 2 or 3 hours and we've gone through the scenes and I'm there with the director and the director of photography and we go, oh, this would be nice to do this. It's great to do this. And the director's saying, well, I kind of see that the scene's going to work out like this. And I think this camera, and I'm there so make our little notes. But at the end of it, I'll say, so when are you shooting this? And they go, oh, tomorrow.
Like, I'll see you in the
Please.
morning. Brilliant. So did you get much of a time scale on this one then? Did you how long did it take you? Or no, or no idea.
I've been working on. It it was quite good because I was working on several episodes at once. I was working on because when you storyboard a live action show, you're not storyboarding the entire show; you're storyboarding scenes.
Yeah.
I got to spend a bit of time working with the director on certain scenes,
Oh,
um,
that's cool.
taking a bit of time on it. I mean, the
Yeah.
idea is that I do like 20 key drawings a day,
Yeah.
which is a lot more than you do in comics.
Yeah, just a
So they
touch.
don't
Yeah.
have to, they don't normally have to be as detailed as they are in comics.
Yeah,
But
I get you. So did
yeah.
lockdown have a much of an impact on who your rest of your family and those around you, or was it just not much of a difference? You sat in your art room doing your thing. Did you have to?
Well, my
Did you go a bit
studio
stir
is
crazy?
yeah, well, my studio is actually down Cardiff Bay, and it's an old Victorian building, and there's no way it can be made COVID safe. So basically, um, after a couple of months of working at home on the equipment I just got in my house, I realised that I needed better kit. So I've been bit by bit bringing stuff home and trying to make it fit into the flat, and
Yeah.
it's a snug fit, shall we say?
A little bit
Basically, trying to get
cozy.
2 rooms into 1 room space. Yeah.
Is it nice working from home, or do you prefer working in your when you got all the space with your big studio?
Uh, I quite like the big studio setup mainly because I get to talk to people. But the
Yeah.
thing is now, if I go and work down there, only one of us can work down there at a time. So you
Oh,
might as well be working at home.
yeah. Yeah. You might as well stick around.
Yeah,
So what else
yeah.
have you been doing then in the last year or so as we're now hitting a year for lockdown? What else, what other projects you've been working on that you can tell us
Uh,
about?
what can I tell you about? there's a couple of shows that are coming up later in the year which would be great to work on, but there's no way I can tell you about what they are. They're absolutely. The main show I've been working on is actually The Witcher, series 2 of The
Oh
Witcher.
wow,
So that's a big.
awesome! I love that show.
It's great. I've been having a ball doing that.
How did you get involved in doing that?
One of the directors on the show is somebody I'd worked with in the past.
Yeah.
So I'd first worked with him on Doctor Who, and then we did a show for ITV called Houdini and Doyle. I don't know if anybody saw it. I suspect they didn't.
It's ringing a bell, to be fair.
The Adventures of Harry Houdini teaming up with Arthur Conan Doyle to solve crime.
That sounds amazing.
It's great. It's the daftest shows I've worked on.
It sounds like it's based on books or something.
No.
No? Oh, no, cool. I might have to dig that out.
It's a really silly show. It was on ITV, not Venue or something. I don't know. It's one of the ITV channels somewhere down the dial.
Yeah. Excellent.
So he stayed in touch, and the chaps came to work with him again. And he was like, "Do you want to work with me?" I went, "Yes." I said, "It's on The Witcher." I went, "Yes, thank you."
Yes, please, I will do that. Are you a fan of The Witcher yourself? Then, have you played the game or anything?
I've not played it. I've read some of the graphic novels. I've listened to the audiobooks because I get through a lot of audiobooks when I'm working.
Yeah.
It's quite nice when you sit in there drawing, having somebody to read to you is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd doze off. That's my problem. I think I'm just like, Excellent.
Yeah, for me, the show is actually basically the live action Conan TV series I always wanted as a kid.
It is a very cool series. Yeah, I have been enjoying it. I really got into the game as well, to be honest. So I'm a big fan. I think I saw the trailer for The Witcher and then was like, that looks cool. Where's the game? Oh, I played this game then forever. That's really cool. So you've been working on The Witcher. What other projects have you had that have kept you busy?
Oh, what else I have no idea what else I've been doing. I said the animated kids shows for S4C here in Wales. I've been doing some of those. Mm-hmm. A little bit of comics work. I've actually worked on a 3-part story for 2000E that James Peaty's written, which is actually coming out in April, I think.
Excellent. There you go, everyone. Audience, watch out for April for some Mike Collins specials.
Yeah, it's what me and James have been talking online for ages about working together. And I said, what I really want to do is get back to, I think for me, it was Star-Lord first rather than 2000 AD. I got into 2000 AD because it merged with Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Those early Carlos Esquire Strontium dogs. I said, I want to get a bit of that in the comics.
That'd be cool.
So basically,
yeah.
It's not quite Carlos karaoke, but it's me sort of trying to get a bit of that feel back. So
excellent. No, that'd be really, really good to see.
It's coloured by Dylan Teague, so it just looks gorgeous.
I've seen some of the stuff he posts up online is amazing. Dylan's work, it's gorgeous. Even just his sketches. When you see some of his sketches, it's just like, it's the colour and the shading on it is really, really good. It's beautiful work.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
Who is it you were working with that on? Who was the writer on that?
James Peaty.
James Peaty. Okay, so he sort of approached you saying, "I've got an idea for a story," or?
No, it was really weird. It started off because we're messaging each other about stuff, and he said, "What would you like to draw?" And I started saying about the Star-Lord stuff, and I actually came up with a line. There's this thing about world engines that you have, where one of the ways that in big hard SF you can destroy planets with something called a mass driver.
Yeah. Basically,
just you're throwing rocks at planets. But in my head, it's suddenly, because Ray's Catholic, I said mass driver, so basically it's the Vatican in space. And then we went from there.
That's excellent. Oh, I like that. Oh, we're looking forward to seeing that then. I've just noticed you're wearing a Lawless t-shirt there. Is that what look? Yeah. It's our Lawgiver t-shirt. Lawgiver going out to 4. Amazing.
There you go.
Good shout. Yeah, got to have a shout out for the convention.
Absolutely,
somewhere. Yeah. A little bit told me that you've been previously involved in doing laser, eraser and press button in the early days for Eclipse Comics. What can you tell us about that and your involvement in it, and about the comics themselves?
Oh, that was a wild one. When I was starting getting into comics, it was back in the days when every couple of months there was a comics convention Comics Mart in the Westminster Hall in London.
Okay.
And because I was living in Uxbridge at the time, which is just the end of the Metropolitan Tube line, I would go in every 2 months to sort of sort of ingratiate myself with whoever was around and someone who worked with them.
Yeah.
And it just happened that Steve Moore was there, and Steve and Alan Moore had seen my work, and Steve was looking for a new artist to draw a press button because Steve Dillon had been sort of poached away and he wasn't going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I did a few samples for it with Mark Farmer inking, and both Steves liked the work, which is lovely. So
Excellent.
getting the nod from Steve Dillon was the absolute crucial thing for me. I just thought, I can't do this without his approval.
Yeah.
And I did I think I did 4 or 5 issues of but then he went to the back of Marvel Man or Miracle Man.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've got some issues with your internet, mate. We're not seeing you.
So,
there you go. You come back now. That's fine.
There?
Sorry, yeah. You were saying you got the nod from Steve Dillon, which was we've lost you again.
You've frozen. I froze. Not sure.
Oh, lost you. Hiya.
I'm back again.
You're back again. There we go.
Yeah, you just sort of stopped. I thought she's paying a lot of attention to me there.
Yeah, I think we got a few internet connection possible issues there. We can sort that out. That's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, you were saying you got the nod from Steve Dillon, which was what you were after on that one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So going up to him, showing him a page, say, "Is this all right?" Yeah, right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So how long did you work on that for then?
I was probably on that for about a year or so.
Yeah.
And it was my introduction to American comics proper.
Okay.
Well, what had happened was I'd gone along to one of the big London conventions at the time, the UCACs.
Yeah.
And the big thing with UCAC was always that Frank Claret would get all the artists and writers to come on stage. So you got to see who was there at the show.
Yeah.
And because I started doing laser and press button, I got to be in the queue that went on stage.
Awesome.
And in front of me was Jeanette Kahn.
Right.
And Jeanette Kahn was frozen again.
Yeah, you're a little bit slow again.
Hello. Oh, is it me or is it you?
I think it's your end.
Hello, we're back again.
Hiya, we're back again. There we go.
Yeah, I've G now, just in case it was my wireless was going up and down.
Oh, good shout. No problemo. Sorry, so you were in the queue? In
the queue at UCAC. Loads of famous people either side of me. I think Gil Kane was in the line as well.
Oh, goodness.
And in front of me was this American lady who just starts talking to me. So what do you do? What do you do? And I draw laser and press button for Eclipse. And she was, I really love that. I said, oh, and what do you do? I'm Jeanette Kahn, the publisher of DC Comics. She wanted to work with me.
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. I love doing that. That's how the community works, isn't it? It's all networking and just meeting people in queues and in bars and places.
Yeah, I've gone to do careers talks, and people have said, "Well, so what was your job plan? How did you sort of see yourself over a certain?" I've no idea. I just meet people.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I think that's how Lawless evolved in the end. To be honest, was just I happened to know lots of people who wanted a thing, so I was like, all right, I'll do that then. And yeah, it's how networking works. Yeah, it gets you into lots of places. It's very excellent. So, what did you kind of take away from that? Was that your first major experience comic wise that got you where you are now, or where did you go from there on it?
Well, because of doing laser and press button, so for one, it got me to work with DC, which was great. Yeah. But probably more importantly, because for ages I've been sort of battering at the doors of 2000 AD and just been turned away. I'd done a Future Shock, which was great. I'd made it. I'd done a Future Shock, and then I did nothing for like 18 months, 2 years. Didn't
Yeah.
have anything for me. But at one of the Westminster Marts, I met Glenn Fabry. And I was sitting there drinking, and Glenn was looking through my portfolio, and he saw the laser razor stuff and said, "Oh, Pat Mills would like this."
That's
and
awesome.
showed it to Pat, and that's how I got to do the Dice Man stuff.
Oh,
Because
okay,
it was like a back door into 2000 AD.
Excellent. That's really cool. You can't go wrong with Glenn and a drink either.
Yeah. A lot of my career choices have been based around alcohol, it seems.
Yeah, it's quite scary how that occurs. Yeah, there's usually booze involved somewhere.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I'm trying to think what questions we got for you. Oh yeah, you did the Apollo Moon Mission comics recently as well, didn't you?
I did. There's a really silly story about that. I had, like I say, I don't do as much comics work as I used to do because I'm working in storyboarding for TV these days a lot.
Sure.
I still like comics. Is still my home. 2000 is still my home. And it was a London Supercon, and Matt and Chris that wrote the Apollo comic came up to see me, and they were telling me that they got this graphic novel idea, and would I look at it for them? And I said, well, I can't do it because I was working on Good Omens at the time, I think. I said, but I'll give you some notes. I'll get back to you, and I'll let you know what I think of it. Anyway, I'd sort of they emailed me the script. All I knew it was called Apollo. As far as I knew, it was about the Greek god. So I sort of worked till about 11 o'clock on some project or other. I thought, well, I don't want to go to bed yet. I want to read something before I go to bed. I thought, well, I'll read, see what the script's like. And so I sat down about 3 a.m. I finished the script, and I immediately emailed and said, I'm drawing this.
Oh, wow.
This is good.
That's
I have
excellent.
to draw this. Yeah. So, and I managed to make, it took me about a year and a half to draw it in between various storyboarding gigs.
Yeah.
One of the main things about storyboarding is it's not a 9 to 5 days a week job. You might do 2 days on some project, and then you've got 3 days free, and then you might do 14 days on another project. There's no ways of, because I'm quite often working on 2 or 3 shows at once because I have to fill out a month. But it meant, without having that sort of hectic schedule, that I was able to fit in pages of Apollo.
That's good.
That done through that period.
Excellent.
Really pleased the way it all came out.
That's really cool. I was going to say, so did you have to do like a lot of research on that at all for the history of it and what you were drawing and things like that?
I did a ridiculous amount of research. What was great was that Chris and Matt had already done a whole stack of research. They researched the heck out of it. They were in touch with NASA directly.
Cool.
So there's certain points in a comic where there's a time code, and that's actually accurate. Wherever they say the Apollo 11 is, that's where it was at that point.
That's
so
amazing.
I really liked it. On the Smithsonian website, there's a 3D model of the command capsule.
Yeah.
So for drawing areas, I was able to literally, on my computer, move it around so I could get the angle. Yeah.
That's amazing.
As much as I could, every time you see them flick a switch in the comic, that's the switch they would have flicked. That's
very, very cool. Oh, I'm looking out for that. That's amazing. Cool. So how was that? Was that hugely successful for you, or did it? I'm not sure sort of where it went after that. It came out as a graphic novel, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, what was great about it is because we did it through Self-Made Hero, and Emma and the crew at Self-Made Hero are just brilliant. They sold it to Russia, France, China, Spain, Germany. So there's
excellent. There's loads of it's worldwide.
All over the world, yeah. It's great. I mean, it's one of these things that we part of the problem with me drawing it was going to take me a long time to draw it.
Yeah.
Good part of that was it came out on the 50th anniversary.
Completely that's awesome. That's cool.
Because the guys had written it
completely coincidental.
But by the time we got it out there, it was the book of the moment.
Good timing, excellent timing. That's really cool. I bet it never gets old seeing it out in the wild either. Like when you come across it, especially if you see it in a different country somewhere, that would be in a different language. Yeah, that never gets old. I bet.
And I've got to say as well, the cover. I drew the picture of the astronaut on the cover but the design of the cover is, and the guy's name is completely gone out of my head at the moment. But he's the same guy that designed Moon for Duncan Jones.
Yeah.
Poster for that.
So did you get involved with doing that at all, by the way, on Mardy? Did you get invited to work on that at all? Mardy, the Duncan Jones, Alex de Campi.
No, I'm not in Mardy at all, I'm afraid. No, I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I need to read it, actually. It's something I need to get, because it looked amazing.
Well, I on the Kickstarter, I ordered the all bells and whistles hardback, and I think it's now been finally printed, and it's supposed to be on its way over. So I'm looking forward to it.
Very pretty. Yeah, it's very pretty.
And it's got lots of Dylan Teague artwork in it. Yeah.
Say again.
It's got lots of Dylan Teague artwork in it as well.
Yes, can't go wrong with that. So you mentioned you were doing some storyboarding for Good Omens. How did you get hold of that one?
Again, it's people I've worked with before. I mean, one of the things about being in Cardiff is that I'm available for work for Doctor Who and other shows that are filmed here.
Yeah.
And the director of Good Omens I work with on Doctor Who.
Ah, okay then. Yeah.
He sort of dragged me over to do Good Omens, and also I've known Neil Gaiman since. Well, we started at the same time in comics.
Yeah.
So, and we sort of. I think we're at the cast and crew screening of the whole thing. So we went to London for an afternoon and just sat and watched all episodes back to back. And we suddenly realised that, like 30 years earlier, we said we've got to work together one day. And Neil went, "We did, didn't we?"
We still need to. Yeah, we actually got it in there. That's amazing. It was a really, really good show. I thought they translated it very well to screen. I thought.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, no, it came up very well. I've just I've had a bit of a Sandman reread recently, actually, and just it's a good stuff. Just the writing on it it's so different, like for its time as well. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, I think. Yeah, I think some of the casting on that's going to be good. Yeah, say again.
I'm not involved in that one. So.
You're not involved. You're not involved. Did you say you're doing something? You did something on American Gods? Did I hear you mention? No, I was going to say.
No. I've worked on various genre shows. I think what else I've worked on that you'd have heard of. No, brain's gone. It'll come back to me afterwards.
That's okay. No, it's always more time. So, are you working on anything? What are you currently working on then? Anything? How are you finding it at the moment? Have you got any current projects you're working on at the moment?
I'm currently storyboarding.
That you're allowed to tell us about.
Well, I'm not. That's the problem. Come see my studio. Don't look at anything in it. Yes. No, I'm storyboarding for a couple of TV shows at the moment. One's a cartoon show, and the other's a live action one.
Keeping you busy then.
It's great. I mean, I love it, and like I say, because it's not every day, it means I do get to do some comics work as well. So
yeah, no, that's awesome.
And like I say, and as I keep saying to Tharg, if there's ever a dread going, just please pass it my way, because that's my home. That's absolutely my home.
Yeah, keep going on that, definitely. Yeah. So with lockdown then, outside career and work and things like that, what else has been keeping you occupied in lockdown? Have you taken up baking sourdough or anything like that at all, or collecting records?
There might have been some baking sourdough going on.
My baking has definitely gone up in the last 12 months, it has to be said. Not sourdough, but cakes.
Oh, yes. My partner does wonderful cakes, which is dangerous. So
it easily gets out of control, doesn't it?
So, it can do.
Have you taken up any? Have you taken up any new hobbies or anything?
Watching a lot of telly. I mean, that seems to be the main one.
Can't go wrong with that. Binge watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's lucky we've got the dog, so we do have to go out at certain times of the day, because the dog is Pavlovian about it's 5:30. Oh, I'm going out now.
I need to go out now. So some good long walks and exploring then.
I live in a third floor flat, so when the dog has to go out, you have to go out too.
Well, it gets you out of the house and some fresh air, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's great. So any recommendations on your TV viewing then? What have you got for us?
Bosch.
Oh, okay.
I love all of Michael Connelly's books, but the TV show is exceptional. And
excellent.
it was kind of a bittersweet thing, because shortly before lockdown, I'd been over in Los Angeles for a Doctor Who convention.
Yeah.
Where there were 20,000-30,000 people all in a small hotel. And you just can't imagine that now, can you?
No,
But
I know. It's just so many people.
I know. We did quite a big tour around because we decided, well, if we're going to be over in Los Angeles, we're going to make a holiday of it. So we were over there for a couple of weeks, going around looking at all the sites. So
Excellent.
watching Bosch, which is all filmed in Los Angeles, is sort of like, oh, we went there. Oh, we've been there. Seen that bit.
I like doing that. I want to. I literally want to go to Wells just because Hot Fuzz was filmed there. No other reason whatsoever. So, and just lastly, really, is there anything else that you want to promote or recommend or signal boost at all? Have you got any projects or Kickstarters or friends or anyone that's working on things that you want to say, go and see this thing?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or charities or projects?
Well, in terms of charity, Shelter. I mean, that's the main one for me.
Shelter's always good.
For
Yeah.
so many people through all this. They've been there, so when I've got a bit of money, they've had it. So
Excellent.
In terms of Kickstarters, the Etherington brothers.
Yeah.
If you know their stuff, they're amazing. They've recently started another Kickstarter where they're doing the 4th volume of their How to Draw Comics book.
They are really good at that, yeah.
I've been doing this for 30 years, and I pick up one of their volumes, and there's stuff in there that just makes me think, oh my God, that's how you do it.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool if they're doing that as well.
Yeah, it's great. And,
there we go.
Yeah, the one they got at the moment is you can back book 4, but also in part of the Kickstarter, you can get the earlier volumes as well. So an instant shelf full of wonder.
There you go, everyone. Kickstarter for the Etherington Brothers. Go and hunt it down. We'll put some links up onto their website as well, so you can check it all out. But go and have a look at those. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. It's been really, really good to chat to you this evening and catch up. Thank you to everyone who's watched for our creator catch up. Do check out the rest of the Lawless YouTube page for our other interviews and our live panels. Don't forget to like and share, and head on over to the Lawless Comic Con website for our merchandise, or donate to the creator bar tab on GoFundMe. I'm not sure if it's going to be a bar tab, but yeah, go and donate to the GoFundMe. Thank you ever so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.